Hello, we're picking up straight from the last video where the buy list was emailed to that Gmail address. Here is the email. So I'll click that, download the buy list, and I'll be putting it on my desktop. Okay, so now I'm going to Inventory Lab. This is what you'd see post sign in. So I'm going to hit Create New Batch up here. And here's the batch name. It's just the date and time by default, but you can choose to rename it whatever you'd like, really. Here's where we input the buy list we just downloaded. So here it is. It always starts with buy list and a bunch of letters and numbers. All right, ship from is my office address. Obviously, put in whatever address is relevant for you. Packing type individual, channel FBA, workflow private. Label preference, I'll label my items. Provide box content off. Min-max preferences do not capture. If you have anything different, please adjust to the settings. Okay, process buy list. Okay, this isn't very relevant. Hit next. And the buy list just got processed. So all these in red means that some action needs to be taken by us to make sure everything's working. So on all these red ones currently, it says already in inventory, which means I've sent it. I already have a listing. So for this, I want to just replenish and use the prior listing I already have. You could create a new listing or delete this one and create a new one, but we recommend using the prior listing you've used before. So I'll hit use for that. And just as a tip, once you get to the point where, as you can see, I could be manually doing all these, but under bulk replenishment options, I can just do replenish all, hit yes, and all those turn to green. So another problem we're having is duplicates in the buy list, which means we scan the same barcode and add the same item twice. So what we're going to do is merge these so the right number is reflected. So now everything's green, so we're going to hit the Amazon validation button. All right, that is complete. So next, we're going to create the batch. And this, as this window says, it does take a little bit of time when you have a fair amount of shoes in one shipment, but the wait time of this is minuscule compared to the time of manually typing UPCs into Seller Central. If you don't already use Inventory Lab or you're thinking about whether it's worth the money, if you're doing more than like a couple large shipments a month, the amount of time you'll save doing this process as opposed to having a stack of shoes, typing the UPC in, finding the shoe, adding it to inventory, and then having it all on your inventory and selecting it all. The time savings of using this method is vast. So here we are, everything's loaded up. Here's our shipment. And you can, at this point, manually add something if we forgot from Scoutify, but that shouldn't really happen. So here's a list of all our things, all our issues. It looks like most are going to MDT2. I'm not going to scroll all the way because it doesn't matter. So I'm going to review the batch. All right, and you can, at this point, double check with what you've packed up with what's here if you choose. It should be correct, so hit submit. And this will complete the batch. So it'll create the FBA shipment in Seller Central. So hit OK. Oh, okay. And so here is a good thing. So 54 units are going to MDT2 as no label, which means they'll be commingled. But one item is going to the same warehouse, but it has to be seller labeled, which means that we have to print out a manual barcode for this one. So my personal preference, and I believe Mark's too, is I'll put this one aside generally until I get enough seller labels where I'll just create an entire seller label shipment. So you can choose to send this in an individual box, but it costs a fair amount of money and is not very efficient for time. So generally I would put this aside, so I would decline this shipment, which means I'll put this shoe aside, this Nike Women's Rev 3, 8.5, and I have 3 or 4 of these at any given moment, just waiting until I can get another 3 or 4 to do a whole 10 to 12 box shipment. But so everything else is going to MDT2 54, so I want to create this shipment, and I want to confirm I'm creating it. And now that action has been taken on both of these potential shipments, now I'll hit complete and close batch. And at this point, the shipment is now in your Manage FBA shipments inside Amazon Seller Central. So I'll click Amazon Seller Central, refresh this very quickly, go to Inventory, Manage FBA Shipments. And you can see right here, usually it'd be number 1, but I have a very similar replica shipment I created before and deleted. So here it is, 34 SKUs, 54 total ships. So I'm going to hit work on shipment. All right, scroll down, small parcel UPS, good to go. So because there's 54 shoes, I'm going to select the more than 1 SKU per box because we can't fit everything in one box. So I'll do that. And here we go. So I generally always have this selected, skip box information, apply manual processing fee. It is a fixed fee when you do this, but if you don't do it, I'll show you what happens. So I'll say, for instance, that was 4 boxes. So if you use the web form, you actually have to go in and say what shoe is in every box, which takes a lot of time. Or you can skip the box information, apply the processing fee, which, let's just see if that goes up. Okay. There it is, so 10 cents a unit. Oh, and 15 seasonally. So with 54 units, 10 cents, it is $5.40 to not fill in this information, but time is money. So if you have the time, it's worth doing. If your time's spent doing other things, then hit skip box and pay $5 to have it processed manually. So you see it's a slightly different variant where now I'm just typing in 4, filling the boxes, and I can just basically type the weight in of each 4 boxes. Don't need to do dimensions, so I'll just say, I mean, hypothetically, they're probably all close to about that weight, and then hit calculate. All right, so it's only costing 28 bucks to send all these shoes everywhere. So accept. Print box label. I could hit that and then hit complete shipment and be all done. And that concludes this video.